You're listening to Hardscape Growth, a podcast for hungry professionals who want to grow their businesses and level up. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Hardscape Growth Show. I'm your host, Alex from TechnoBlock, and today we're joined by my friend Mark Davies from Davies General Contracting out of Burlington, Ontario. They're right beside Toronto, and Mark and I met through some mutual friends, and we played hockey together when I lived out that way. And at the time, Mark, you were pouring concrete and building pools and doing all that fun stuff. And since then, well, a lot has changed, and now you're running your own business. So welcome to the show. And today what we want to talk about is a little bit of the journey that you had building the business, because you came from a lot of the outdoor work. So there's a lot of foundational construction knowledge that you learned that you were able to bring into your current business. But also there's a ton of similarities with the work that you're doing today, because you're doing a ton of interior renos, kitchens, bathrooms, and basements, and those trends that we see in those spaces are very much being carried outside. So I think there's a lot of things that our listeners can learn today from this conversation, because I think there's a ton of similarities between what you do and what we do. So let's get started. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Nice to see you again after all these years. We've been keeping in touch on Instagram, but we haven't talked much.
I know, it was great. I've been catching a couple of your podcasts, and like you said, the similarities, even though the majority you talk about is the exterior work, but I really caught my attention on some of the business stuff and the finance stuff. And like I said, I reached out to you, and here we are now.
Yeah. So I guess let's start with a little bit of the background. What is the exact definition of what your company does? I gave like a really high level one, but what is it exactly that you specialize in? And how do you go about it in terms of like how many employees do you have versus how many subcontractors you work with, stuff like that, just to give our audiences a bit of a picture of the business model.
Okay. So yeah, we're a turnkey interior residential renovator. We take the whole project on start to finish. We like to use all our own trades and subcontractors. We found that we don't particularly like using other people coming in and working alongside with us. It just generally doesn't work that way. Like you said, I came from like a construction background in concrete. We're mainly doing interior renovations, so kitchens, basements, bathrooms, and we've got into quite a few condo renovations as well. Bit trickier, but that's we're pretty much pro at them now.
Okay. And what made you decide to pursue that angle specifically? With the diverse construction background that you have, why were those areas of focus, kitchen, bathrooms, so important?
Well, first, they're probably like the most popular areas to renovate. And second, we saw the market with it being like I said, it being the most popular one. So a lot of people, whether you've lived in your house for 20 or 30 years, or you bought a house that may have been built 10 years ago, the builder grade finishes or the finishes from 1970 or whatever often need that upgrade. So We're coming in and creating maybe more space or like larger spaces, open concept main floors, or taking an unfinished basement. That's how most of the basements are coming from builder grade, and we're making a usable space in the basement there.
So basically it's based on market need.
Exactly.
You saw like that. These are the popular renos. These are the ones that happen all the time. Every house needs them, whether it's an old house or a new house. This is going to happen eventually. So this is where I'm going to focus my business to be able to have access to the widest margin or market possible. Yeah, what are correct. The things that you do or that you try to do that differentiate your business from others? Because it's a highly competitive space.
Yeah,
it's a massive market, like you said, but it's also one that like there's a ton of people that do this type of work.
Yeah. So the way we try to differentiate from everyone else is we're not like every other contractor where, we're not communicating things to the client. Like I came from a company where I learned so much about business and so much how to run a company properly but also how to not run the company. And one of the things was the communication end of it. We strive on informing our clients like every single day, morning and night, and like even if it's during the day, whether it's like a text message, email, phone call, of like anything we're doing on a daily basis. The feedback we've got from that is we've never had anyone communicate like this to us before. We've renovated 3 or 4 times like over the course of their life. And you provided every single piece of information we required. And whether it was small, it's like, hey, the guys are coming to like clean up garbage today. Like it's a text message. Everybody has phones now. Everybody emails. Like, it takes 2 seconds. Or there's nothing happening today. Nobody's coming today. The guys finished early yesterday. We'll be back Monday. Quick 2 seconds in and out. With effectively communicating every part of our business, it's the first step. From there, we try to keep everything super clean. And then we also offer like higher end quality finishes with higher end trades. We're not hiring subcontractors off Kijiji. These guys have worked with us. They have the same mindset as us. They want to be in business for the rest of their life. So they're doing good work. They're not fly by night. You know, they've got the tools required. You know, they respect the clients like as if they were their own as well. So, you know, a couple different faucets in there.
The communication aspect is super critical, but I'm curious, who manages that? Is that you, or do you have dedicated project managers, or are there like site supers or foremen?
Right now, I'm managing it. We're in a growing stage of the business.
You preceded that with a big sigh. So
like most
feel the pain through your voice.
Like most entrepreneurs, you start out and you're doing everything yourself. And then you realize that's not sustainable for your mental health or the business to grow. So I have a senior project manager coming on board in like 3 weeks, which couldn't come any sooner. And it's going to be a transition period where he'll be taking care of most of the communication with me still there. But like the end goal is I'm going to be stepping away from management and communication on like a daily basis. And I'm going to be focusing on sales and marketing and growing this company to where I want it to be.
Is that what you like to do?
The sales and marketing?
The selling and Yeah,
I'm starting to like it. I like naturally by trade, I'm a project manager. So this is going to be an interesting transition period, be like giving the reins away to someone else. But like I said, to grow this company to where I want it to be, it's the step I need to take.
I'm listening to the audio book by now because I'm trying to call it up. I can't remember his name. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you.
I probably have it on my bookshelf right here. So you just name it.
Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. There it is. So in the early chapters,
I haven't opened it yet. I haven't opened it yet. It's on my list. Okay. It's my next book. So yeah, Buy Back Your Time.
I'm not going to ruin it for you, but there's one part specifically that is about what you delegate. Like choosing what you delegate to who based on what you're good at, what like fuels you, what lights you up. So I'm curious to, in the future, as you go through this transition of handing over the project manager, the communications to a senior project manager, which I think is a wise move. But the sales and marketing part, you said you're learning to appreciate it. I mean, it's something I like a lot, but it's definitely what you need to. You need to have the passion for it. Otherwise it's going to become a grind. And that's something that I find a lot of entrepreneurs have trouble with, is they start hiring to do things that need to get done. Yeah. But you end up picking for the things that need to get done, even if it's the thing that you really, really like to do, or you do really, really well. Yeah. And then you end up just taking the parts that you don't like. So if you're good with the parts that you're going to be focusing more on now, then you're still good. You're still going to be happy doing the work, and you're going to thrive growing the business.
Yeah. I mean, like I have to try something. So we're going to try this. Like, and if sales and marketing doesn't work for me, then it's to switch around, and then it's I stay on the management side, and then we hire someone that's dedicated sales and marketing. I mean, but there's only one way to find out. We got to try these things and see what works, see what sticks. I mean, I do like selling. Like, don't get me wrong. The marketing is coming with it. Doing podcasts, get in front of a camera with videos and stuff. We're starting to do a lot of that social media. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, that's just the journey of any entrepreneur, right? You're trying, you're comfortable with that chaos, and you're figuring out your way, and you're going to try different things, and some things will work really well and some things won't. You learn a valuable lesson and you apply that lesson and you move forward. But I think having a project manager with the scope of work that I've been seeing you guys do on Instagram, it makes a lot of sense, especially if you want to get more into the higher end clients. Speaking of clients, a thing I wanted to ask you is, you mentioned the feedback that you're getting. A lot of them are saying that it's 3-4 renos that they've done before. They've never experienced this type of communication and proactive communication from the contractor that they've hired before. Is that a common theme in terms of who you end up actually doing business with? Because you're doing really nice quality, high-end work that I hope you're charging a fair rate for, and you're making good margins on it. If that is the case, then are you seeing that those customers are typically first-time renovators, or they are experienced? They've moved around a couple times. They've done this a couple times. They understand the value of hiring a good contractor.
We have a mixture of clients that touch on both of those. Some of our clients have moved around. So we have older clients, right, that have moved around to a couple different houses and were renovating long before I was in the renovation game. And that's where you hear I've never had anyone communicate like this before. People didn't get back to them, not ordering the right stuff, and the list goes on of the nightmares that I've heard from some of these people. Some of the newer clients who have never renovated before provide this communication feedback as well. So we have a diverse clientele, I guess.
Yeah. And how does that play into your marketing and your sales today? If that is the main differentiation that you feel that your business possesses, which is really strong communication and making the customer feel super comfortable with everything going on, and they know the comings and goings and the progress of the site throughout the entire duration of the renos, how does that play into the marketing message that you're putting out there, and how does it play into the sales interactions that you have before closing a deal?
That's a good question. So I guess it starts with the sales, showing up, being present, getting the quote to the client when you say you're going to, I had time to get the quote to you. I'm not like the other guys who aren't taking the time out of their day. I've dedicated days that are quote days. So I'm getting quotes to people, I'm trying for 3 business days max. So it starts with the communication from the start, where they see how we can do this and how we communicate to our clients. Like if we're going to be late, if I can't make it to them. So that's all right from the start. We're early communicators to exactly how the project's going to be, which I think is a good determination of like how it's going to happen when we do start the work.
Typically, I mean, it's at least your intent.
Yeah.
Right. It's at least a good indicator of your intent. Like you are diligent in following up, and you do what you say you're going to do. You're building that trust by doing
right
that,
from
which
the
is
start.
Critical.
Yeah. So for marketing, and that's a good question. I'm going to have to think about that one. Maybe we come back to that one.
This episode is brought to you by EZG. Since 1998, EZG has been crafting equipment solutions to solve issues contractors face daily from their shop in Malta, Ohio. Every piece of American-made equipment is designed to increase efficiency and cost savings on each and every job site. Couple tools you need in your trailer right now. The Crack Hog Precision Splitter. It's the original dustless cutting tool. It's safe, it's quiet, and it's perfect for pavers, slabs, and wall block. And if you're planning on laying a lot of large-scale slabs this year, the Grip Hog lifters, battery, compressor, or vacuum-powered, will boost safety and efficiency. Finally, the EZG Roller Paver Compactor will consolidate joint fill without breaking the slabs and plank stones on your next project. And their customer service is honestly unparalleled. Each product comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied, they'll take it back, no questions asked. Visit ezgmfg.com to learn more about their awesome line of tools and equipment. Hold on, I'm just writing down here, doing what you say you do right from the start. Well, from a marketing side, just some ideas if you haven't thought of that before. But, you know, the testimonials that you have, if those testimonials are pretty consistent in terms of, you know, the thing that really set Davies GC apart is the fact that we knew every step of the way, everything that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And even when there were changes that occurred because of shortages of materials or whatever, we knew everything that was happening. He was very proactive in communicating. If there was going to be a delay, he let us know weeks in advance. Nothing ever caught us by surprise. We love that peace of mind. That's why we highly recommend Davies GC. Mm-hmm. You know, if those are the types of interactions that you're having with customers, then that's something that I think is really important, because as someone who's done some renovations, but not extensive, I do a lot of stuff myself. But if I put myself in the shoes of a client, if I have not gone through bad experiences with contractors before, I don't know the pain of the ghost contractor. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know how frustrating, how disconcerting that is, how much I feel like my money's at risk. I paid a deposit. Is this guy going to show up? And I think that that's an important thing to put forward in your social media messaging. And mm-hmm. you know, when people land on your website, why do people choose Davies? You throw some testimonials on there, and you throw on there the things that you do, like proactive communication. We have a process, and you call it something, you know, it's the Davies promise. We will always be communicating every day what is happening. And people who like that kind of stuff, well, all of a sudden you're separating yourself from the pack. Mm-hmm. And that's relatively simple stuff to do. And it doesn't cost a lot of money, because it's just feedback from your customers, your business process. And what's great with where you are right now is you're hiring a senior project manager to take over this part. So in the onboarding and training of this person, you need to document all these processes. How do we communicate? What do we communicate? You know, guys are coming to pick up garbage. Like, that's a thing that we communicate. So every morning, what do you do to ensure that communication? Do you look at the project status? How many projects do you have running per day right now, actually?
Right now we have 4.
Okay. So how do you go about determining the progress of every one of these sites and communicating that to your customers? What are you actually doing right now? This is going to be super helpful even for your training of your guy. You're going to make
I know. I'm taking notes. So yeah, I was like, that needs to go in the onboarding manual right there.
Yeah.
So I have a project schedule for each one, and I know top level, like what's happening every day. That if I don't look at it at night, I look at it in the morning to update both my clients and then my employees that work for me. So, hey, like, this is happening today. If there's something like a key milestone, or like maybe an invoice needs to go out, something like that, it's all on this schedule that I have. So I'm looking at that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that, and then I'm communicating like, hey, today was, you know, I have rough-in electrical happening at one of our jobs. Send a message to the client, hey, just a reminder, you got to meet me on site at 9:00 this morning. We're meeting with the electrician to go over on-site details. See you there at 9. Cool. I have my other two jobs going on. Hey, nothing's happening today. Tomorrow we're back to do that punch list A, B, C, D, E. We'll touch base tomorrow morning. I'll let you know when the guys are on their way, everything, you know, traffic and all that stuff.
Do you send a reminder to the subcontractor too? Like, hey, by the way, tomorrow we have that meeting on site at 9 a.m. at Mr. Smith's.
Yes. Some of them I do that. Like, they also, you know, they've accepted calendar invites and things like that too. So I know they're going to be there. Good thing with most of my subs, most of them are tech savvy, and we use a lot of the same subs. So I was with my electrician yesterday on one site, and when we left at 4:00, it was, hey, we're meeting 9 a.m. with so-and-so in Oakville. You know, be prepared to go over the light schedule and all the appliances and everything. And, you know, so everybody's on board and it's communicated, you know, what's happening and when.
I have another question for you.
Sure.
I have a lot of questions actually, because that's how this podcast goes. But the question I have is, in terms of your project management approach, do you have a specific piece of software that you use, or is it just a giant Excel sheet? How are you tracking every one of these projects, their progress, and all these milestones that you're mentioning?
We haven't moved to software yet.
Okay.
Right now,
That's okay. What are you doing?
I know. We're using like a Google Calendar. So
Okay.
it's not as good as I've used like Builder Trend. I've used Microsoft Project before at my previous company. I hadn't, up until like a year ago, it was on a whiteboard, like in my office of everything, like the old
That's
way.
fine.
And now it's starting to go digital. And then as we grow, and there's a little bit more money in the budget to move to an app, where a senior project manager can be dedicated to updating it, because it's a lot of work to maintain it. You can set it up. I can spend all the work, but if no one's going to maintain it, then it's useless. So, and that's kind of
a big part of project management, and that's something that gets overlooked. People jump into these softwares both feet, and then they're like, this is a job. I don't have the time to do this. And then you're paying for a monthly subscription for something that you barely use. You had every intention of using it, but no, none of them are cheap. Well, the good ones are not. But it's a good solution. Like, you're still centralizing the information. And I think one of the things that's important is you're saying, you're picking subs that are tech savvy so that they can get on the train with you. And you're not having to have like this one-off, I'm exaggerating here, but this one-off fax communication with a guy who's like your tiler, because that's the guy. Like,
I do have one of those guys, but the quality of his work makes up for the lack of using technology, and I know him, so I know what the communication process is with him. Like, it's a printed, like, I print it off for him. We show up, we go over it. Here you go. Like, he's starting to text, which is great, but but there's always the one-off. It's good trades are hard to come by, and it's if he's just not going to accept a calendar invite from me, then so be it. Like, it's something you got to deal with.
So let me recap the process that you said. Basically, you have all of your projects mapped out on Google Calendar, and you use Google Calendar to centralize all of the key milestones and who's going and coming to every site. And you have up to 4 sites running at the same time. So this is important. You use calendar invites with all of your subs, except for the one. You use calendar invites with all of the subs. Do you use calendar invites with the clients as well for these key moments, like meeting the electrician for the rough-in? Yeah. So the calendar invite goes out to the client and to the sub. You send a text reminder either the night before or the day of, depending of the time that is happening. And you make sure that all of your subs are on board with this process. So they know that there's a centralized calendar. They know that they're going to get calendar invites, and they know that they're going to get text reminders, and the text reminders will outline specific details that are pertinent to that meeting. Right off the bat, that's one step of your process. And that's one part of your that, you can take the parts that you like of that, and you can make that part of your brand promise as well. We work with the top quality subs, and one of the key things that we do is we are always proactively communicating with them so that we know the status of the project today, where we'll be tomorrow, and where we'll be next week. And we keep you aware of that every single day.
I love it.
What else you got? So, like, what are some of the other intricacies that your project manager will need to think about in order to be successful?
Well, that's one part of it, scheduling trades. The other part of it gets into materials, which is a whole nother ballgame. And then depending on what type of job site we're on, materials into a condo, which is delivery companies and things like that. So now that you've got your trades on site, is everything there that's required for them? Do we have the plans on site for them? Do we have the tiles on site for the tile setter? Things like that. Does he know the tile schedule and all that? So that's all done beforehand and marked out.
How do you ensure that the quantities are appropriate for the tradesperson? Like, how is the estimation of materials done so that let's say the electrician shows up and he's not short 50 feet of cable because it was misestimated or underestimated?
So it's a dual method. So I will do the original estimate based on the drawings that we have. Something we're moving forward to do. We're getting drawings on every site. Sometimes we do smaller jobs where in the past, we haven't had a drawing. And for that reason that you're bringing up, some of the estimates were wrong. So new policy I'm putting in, even if it's a bathroom 5x10, I'm just getting a drawing made by it, done, it's there. Everybody can use it for estimating all the materials so that we're not running into things being short. So I'll start the original estimate. This is what I've measured. You need, 7 boards of moisture-free drywall, 2 corner beads, this stuff. My drywaller usually comes and does a site visit when it's ready. He'll confirm that we order it. Similar to tile, sometimes we do it before based on the drawings and based on the layout. We all confirm, okay, I'm going to order X amount of square feet with this, and this. He comes back, hey, you're short. Why'd you order this many? Get another box or whatever and that. And then we come to an agreement and that's what we order.
Oh, regardless of size or scope of project, they all stick to the same process.
Yes. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Like a lot of it is whether you're renovating a bathroom or a full house, you still have to go through every step of construction, whether it's site protection, design, demo, electrical. It's all the same. It just depends on if it's in a 5x10 bathroom or a 1,400 square foot main floor. You have to do the same thing. So it's just larger scopes. There you go. And then from there, we have templates for contracts, costing templates that are all very similar, broken down into each subsection. Whether you're doing a bathroom, kitchen, main floor, you can pull different pieces from it and they all populate.
Oh, those templates, did you build those yourself?
I did, yes.
And what was your process doing that?
Trial and error. Luckily, the previous company that I worked at had some pretty rigorous templates, so I was able to pull that information and everything I learned from them and put them into my new ones. And then over time, we're consistently updating main templates and like a full costing document with like up-to-date costing where we can pull numbers from, whether it's your tile installation per square foot or your drywall finishing per square foot or per board. There's going to be like a standard costing template, which our main trades, that's what they're charging us. Like I know when we go into a house, like my trade is going to charge me X amount per square foot to do this bathroom. So that's what it ends up in my costing sheet. And that's what they end up getting paid when we come to an agreement. If anything changes, which things have changed the last couple of years, things are getting more expensive. Sometimes that number doesn't get updated and then I get hit in the face with, hey, you're off by, $1.50 a square foot. And sometimes it's marginal, but sometimes it's large.
Yeah. So there's a key part. So I'm making notes too here. So like for your templates, when I asked you, how did you do it? You basically gave me 2 methods and both are valid. First one is trial and error. Yeah. Second one is basically copy and paste.
Yeah.
But both of them absolutely require an additional step, which is review and edit. So the frequency of the reviews, if you're in a climate where the market is changing, prices are changing quarterly, which like you are affected by that a lot. Like lumber prices, they change far more frequently throughout the year than concrete prices, like on my side of the fence. So that's something that maybe you need like a quarterly template review with your subs. Like, hey, I'm booking you on the calendar. It's 15 minutes. It shouldn't take more than 15 minutes because we work together every day of the week, but let's just run through this thing and make sure we don't have to make any changes. That way you're not caught with your pants down trying to sell a change order to a client or absorbing the hit, which is the last thing you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good call.
Okay.
We do get like some of our vendors and things like that. Like we'll get updates that like from the big guys, like plumbing companies, drywall companies, they send us out. You might do it too at Techo Block if you guys are raising your prices. Hey, like January 1st, there's a price increase of 5% across the board. So I know it's coming. Drywall's going up 3% across the board. Here it is. And we take that information and it goes there from there to there, which is on the bigger companies. Obviously, the smaller subs aren't doing that, and sometimes they're not as educated on it as well. So I kind of send that out to them too if they're not getting it.
So, two price changes. So is that something that you foresee that remaining your responsibility, or does that fall in the camp of the senior project manager, receiving, monitoring, and adapting to prices, or at least communicating about the price changes that you get notified about?
It'll probably be both of us because like we're both going to be dealing with it from different angles. I'll be on the selling side of it, and he'll be getting, maybe he might hear something back from the trades that I'm not getting or that I can use, and vice versa. Like the guys might tell him, hey, this price goes up on this stuff. And then he'll let me know, hey, Mark, just to let you know, next basement renovation you're doing, spray foam, it's up $0.25 per square foot. Oh, cool. Yeah, great. Now we got to change all the ones we just sent out. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So anything else you can think about project management? Otherwise, we'll shift gears. I have another line of questions to go down.
No, I think that's good for now.
Yeah. All right. Good. Hello to whoever your new senior project manager is listening to this.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other line of questions I wanted to go down was in terms of trends, design trends, material trends, finishes, colors. Is there anything that you're seeing that are trends in the interior renovation space that translates super well to the outdoor space? You know what TechnoBlock does. You know what our customers do. You used to do a bit of it too. So what do you see that's translatable?
Something I saw that you talked about like multiple times on your podcast as well as the trends is creating usable space, I guess. Like you guys are doing a lot of outdoor kitchens, outdoor living spaces, very similar to what we're doing in like a basement or a kitchen area from like a bigger picture trend. We're taking kitchens, making them larger, having families. You guys are doing it outside, adding that extra room or extra space to the property.
And the extra space with regards to the kitchens, like what are the main purposes that people or the I guess the wish list that you're seeing a lot in the kitchens that we can maybe translate to an outdoor kitchen? Is it like space to entertain? Is it space to prep? Is it specific appliances that people are like freaking out over right now?
Space to entertain is huge. Being able to sit around an island with your family and friends, whether it's Sunday dinner or Saturday barbecues, space is better. Like you don't want people crammed in the old style kitchens, right? There's no room. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. Whereas if you got more space, people can kind of interact through it. Appliances, I guess I don't know. You guys are doing more outside, like double ovens are huge now, like multiple cooking areas. I don't know if that would translate a trend outside, but I guess you guys have different.
Yeah, no, it definitely
pizza
does.
ovens and like that's what I see a lot of for the exterior.
Yeah, pizza ovens, griddles as well. Like everyone wants the grill, but a griddle is super practical.
Yeah,
that's something we talked about in this year's Hardscaper showcase as well. But the different cooking appliances, 100%. That is way up right now. The griddle, pizza oven. Like if I can have all three, absolutely, I want all three, and that requires a space. I want to come back to the island though. Do you see that people are making extra large islands to avoid leaving the kitchen and going to a dining area? Like they want kitchen dining, like just everyone stay in the kitchen. Even Sunday brunch, I'm preparing breakfast and I just turn around, slide it across to whoever's sitting there. Is that kind of the vibe, or people also want the expansive dining space too?
Yeah, it's a combination of both, depending on how big the family or how many people they're entertaining. What I've seen a lot of is the kids are getting put at the island and the family is still sitting at that dining room table. Specifically, we're doing one right now, and that's exactly what the design is. It was the island is, going to be a good size, and it's going to sit 4 to 6 kids. And then the adults, the mom, the dad, the grandparents are going to sit at the nice dining room table, all 8 of them there. They can keep an eye on the kids. They don't have to be at the table. We have done in the past where it is like the larger island with like a 2-tier where you've got your bar stools, that sit 4 to 6 and then drop down to a table end that have 3 on it. So you've got, because maybe that was space related. So you could sit
That's
down.
important to consider. Like not everyone has 12 acres to pave, you know, like most people have a modest backyard. So what can you do? I like the 2-tier. Yeah. So what's the structure? I cut you off there. How many people sit up top? How many people sit at the lower area?
It was
what are some of the differences?
4 up top, and then like space for 3 around the smaller, like the lower tiered area. So the lower tier, I want to call it like a breakfast table. You could use it like what you wanted to, but they didn't have a dining room table in that specific area. That was it. Like so.
What about materials? Are there specific things that people are really going towards? There was a little bit of a trend for a bit. People were bringing like wood floors into the kitchen, even though it's a little trickier for maintenance and upkeep and stuff like that. But we're doing engineered woods that's changed.
Yeah, I prefer that the wood throughout the main floor and not the tile in the kitchen. It like creates like a seamless look and gives you that. What we're going for in these areas is open concept main floor. Like it's one big room. When you throw tile in there, it breaks it up into you still got 2 rooms in there with the 2 floor patterns. And when you talk about maintenance, the engineered hardwood now is extremely durable, in my opinion, easy to maintain in the kitchen, as long as you're not like leaving like a pot of water on your floor, you're fine. Like it's but yeah, we're doing a lot of wood throughout. The
easy to maintain
walls,
part is
textured walls is coming in, like whether it's like a micro cement or all these different wall finishes. I don't know if you guys are getting into any of that. I guess with stucco, it's probably
with our wall products, we have like a ton of different textures and finishes and colors and scales and shapes. And that's definitely one of the main things that we see is
shapes.
You know,
like arches.
Shapes,
arches is a huge inside right now. Like
really,
Oh yeah, everybody wants an archway detail into their kitchen, archway detail into their closet.
Wow.
I just added
all the old stuff's coming back.
Yeah, we're finishing up this project in Toronto, and it's got 1, 2, 4 arches, plus we got some custom glass closet doors that are arched as well coming in too. They're beautiful. Like it's stunning.
And do you ever get the opportunities? Because like a lot of people will start with the renovations inside and then they'll move outside. Do you ever have people that ask if you can do the outside because they loved working with you, because the project management is so clean and clear and communication's great and they trust you and they don't want to have to hop into bed with some other contractor now? Does that ever come up?
We have in the past. But I made a decision to not do it. It just doesn't fit with our like core focus of the interior renovations. Like we're really good and I want to be the best at the interior. And stick to that. But that being said, in 5 to 10 years, when I'm hopefully building custom houses, we're taking on that full project and doing all the exterior and managing that.
Well, I guess that makes sense, but it makes sense, especially from the perspective of like, this is the size of your business now. You want to stay focused on the things that you're specialized in, and you don't want to have too many distractions. I think that's a wise choice. I think what's a good opportunity is to have a network of contractors that you can refer, though. Like, you know, this is a landscape contractor I know, I trust him very well, and you know, happy to give you his name and number.
That I do have. So I know multiple people in Burlington in that industry from when I was doing it, and guys that I know that are doing it still. So if it does come up, I happily refer them to these two. Something you guys talk about a lot too is like the exterior, because it's seasonal, it's getting those guys, whether it's like the time frame with what the clients want, like some of these, depending on the scale of the project, you know, you could be looking at, for these bigger, great companies, you're like 1 to 2 years out. You want a pool this year? Like good luck. Like, you know, that's a year, 2 years down the road. So
what's your backlog look like?
Not that bad actually, which is nice. But we're pretty solidly booked until the end of the fall.
Okay. And is that Is that where you want to be? Would you like to be more booked out? Would you like to be less booked out?
I would love to be more booked out, and going back to bringing in the project manager, it's going to allow me to focus more on like hunting down sales and pumping out marketing. And then also being able the capacity to handle it. It's tough to be booked out that far in advance while still managing the project here and trying to do the selling. Like I think like right now it's I want to say like tipping point. Like I can't hold anything else. I can't bring anything else in because I just don't have the time, I guess, for it. So once the PM comes in, frees up hours of my time to go out and sell some more and hopefully book, year in advance would be great.
How do you see yourself hunting down sales? Because you're more focused on the residential side. So what does that look like?
A lot more social media and going into some different ventures of marketing. We dabbled into some print media, which actually got some good feedback from specific mail out to the areas that we worked in previously.
Okay. Like direct mail or like an insert into a magazine or something?
Yeah,
direct
it was a direct mail campaign. We just sent it out a couple weeks ago. We got a little bit of good feedback from it.
It still works. People poo-poo it because it's 2024, but man, you get a nice piece in the mail.
Yeah.
You open the mailbox, there's just a bunch of junk in there. You get something that's really nice, it's going to stand out like crazy because no one sends anything nice anymore.
Yeah. So we're doing that. We're going to test that, and then starting to learn more about the digital side, the digital marketing, which hopefully will drive more traffic to the website, and in return, more calls, more leads, and then we go from there.
We have a good course on hardscaper.com that would work for you anyway, because it's digital marketing for contractors.
Okay.
It's put together by Webrunner Media. All they do is digital marketing for home renovation contractors.
Really?
So pick your trade. That's what they do. They just do digital marketing for those different types of contractors, including landscapers and hardscapers and design build firms, stuff like that. But interior renos, kitchens, baths, roofers, all that stuff. That's what they do. They're super good guys, and they put together that course on hardscaper.com. I think it's called the Hardscapers Blueprint to Digital Advertising, but it applies to any tradesperson, and it's free. This episode is brought to you by Proseco. Today's homeowners expect low to no maintenance for their outdoor living space, and Proseco's line of specialty hardscape products are the answer. They're designed to go beyond basic cleaning and protection for pavers, slabs, walls, and coping, and help hardscapers stand out from the competition. Whether you're dealing with stubborn rust or hard water staining, or need lasting protection from water, salt, graffiti, or just everyday wear and tear, Proseco has a wide range of solutions for every challenge. Some of my favorite protectants are Paver Enhancer, which really makes colors rich and vibrant, and Salt Guard, which will protect your client's investment in even the harshest winter climates. Plus, their new adhesive is one of the strongest glues I have ever used. Visit Proseco.com or TechnoBlock.com to learn more and connect with your local rep for samples and job site training opportunities. With Proseco, elevate every stone, every project, every time. I got one last question for you. Actually, two. One is one that I sent over to you ahead of this, which is you prioritize your health and self-development with the stack of books that you have beside you. And your Instagram is your personal Instagram anyways, like you on the bike every morning, you in the gym, you're constantly working out, eating right, taking care of yourself. How do you find that balance, or what is your strategy to having that balance? Because you're obviously running a very busy life professionally, running this business and trying to grow it. And a lot of the elements of the business are still directly in your hands. So what is your mentality about it, and how do you go about it?
That's a good question. So in order to do all these things in business and at this company, I have to be healthy. So it's a priority. Probably it's my top priority. If I'm not healthy, then this business doesn't run the way it's supposed to. So that's why I'm up early in the morning, getting it done first thing before anything else. It's routine. There's no excuses. It's a part of my like life habit. Coming from not being healthy, there's no way, there is no way that I can be doing the things at work and outside of work without having my health like up here. It just doesn't exist. There's no way. How people do it, is it sustainable? I don't know. But for me, at least, like I need to be in this top performing level, setting, I'll quote one of the books, it's big, hairy, audacious goals, where it's, I'm going after like Ironmans and marathons and, you know, putting my body through this stuff. And after doing those, it's like anything that comes my way is not difficult. Like I could have the biggest problem in the world at work. It doesn't matter. Like I did an Ironman. Like that's hard. That's hard. Like that is hard. Yeah. Like against all odds, you know, on race day when nothing goes right and you still push through and you do it. You do stuff like that every day, day in, day out. You work towards goals. It directly goes into your business. And when then things come up like that, like, you know, this is where the company is now and I want to go here. No problem. We just got to put in the work and do it. Like, just do it. We can do it. And if anybody's doubting you, it's like, no, like you know, you've done this in your personal life. You've trained for months upon months. You put in that work. If you do that in your business, no problem. You can get whatever you want.
Yep. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Last question. What's the top piece of advice that you picked up either from listening to podcasts, reading books, working for other people, or just a lesson that you've learned running your business? What's the biggest piece of advice that you have for anyone who's trying to run a business?
What I'm starting to learn, and it's from your podcast and every book, it's trying to do everything yourself is not sustainable. But it's a phase in your business that you probably have to go through to get to the next level. So it's hiring out the appropriate people and building the proper team. It's not going to happen overnight. It's something, you know, it takes time like everything else. You just got to stick with it. And that's from one of your podcasts that I was listening to a while ago.
Yeah, it's come up a couple of times, but one of the recent ones with Steve Wheatcroft, I think that one came out 2-3 weeks ago, specifically where he was going through like the 6 phases that he went through on his leadership journey, and one of them was just getting shit done and just doing it. You got to do everything, and it's not a place where you hang out, but it's you gotta go through that phase to be ready for the next phase.
It's a hotel,
and I think it's still exactly it's a hotel. That's it. Yeah. That was the line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Well, listen, it was a pleasure catching up with you. I'm super happy that you agreed to join me on the show.
Yeah, likewise.
If people want to reach out to you, either because they want to pick your brain or because they want to redo their bathroom, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
2 ways. Online, you can go website, it's daviesgc.ca, or Instagram, davies.gc. Look us up. You can contact me through there. You can DM me. My cell phone number's there and my email. Reach out to us with any home renovation questions you want.
Fantastic. Awesome, man. Mark, thank you once again so much. This was really fun. And I hope that it was useful for you too, as we put together that little checklist of things to include in the onboarding manual.
Yeah, it really was. I made some notes here and I'll probably end up listening to this again just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. Okay. See you, buddy.
Okay. Until next time, everybody, work hard, pave harder, and we'll see you next week on the Hardscape Growth Show. And that was really good, man.
Yeah, that was excellent. Thanks, Alex.
You've been listening to Hardscape Growth, a podcast for hungry professionals who want to grow their businesses and level up. Each episode is all about taking the next step in running your business, so make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on your favorite podcast player. And if you're finding this information to be useful, help others in your position discover us by giving us a star rating and leaving a comment. We'll see you next week.